What is the scariest, strangest, most unexplainable thing that has happened to you while home alone? Story 1. Many years ago, when my now 28-year-old daughter was still an infant, me, her, and our dog were at the apartment we were living in at the time. My wife was at work, I was sitting on the couch watching TV, my daughter was asleep on a blanket pallet on the floor, and the dog, a German Shepherd Wolf hybrid mix, was about 10 feet away, laying in the doorway between our kitchen and the living room area. At any rate, I was watching whatever it was that I was watching when all of a sudden Thor, our dog, starts with his low-level guttural growling. I figured that he had heard someone in another apartment or walking by through the parking lot and didn't think much of it. As a few seconds pass, I notice that it's getting louder, and I can see out of the corner of my eye that he has lifted his head up off his paws, his ears were perked, and he's looking up at the ceiling over where my daughter was laying. I look up, don't see anything, tell him to knock it off. Right after I tell him to knock it off, he jumps up, starts circling my sleeping daughter, literally walking around the pallet she's laying on, and growling more and more intensely, even stopping once and outright snarling and snapping his teeth, all while staring up at the ceiling. After about 2 minutes of this and me having no clue on what to do since I can't see anything and I do not want to reach for my daughter with him circling her like that, he laid down next to my daughter, rested his head on her back, and stayed there for almost an hour, still intently staring up at the ceiling and occasionally growling. To this day, I have no idea what the hell was going on or what he saw, but it was extremely creepy to me. Story 2. I was in my college apartment and my roommate had just moved out. Her room was directly across from mine with the living room between us. I had cleaned out her room and then closed the door. I left my bedroom door open when I went to take a shower one night. My bathroom was connected to my bedroom. I also happened to leave the bathroom door open. While I was in the shower, I thought I heard a woman talking. I had never been able to hear my neighbors talking before, but figured they just happened to be talking in their bathroom which shared a wall or something. When I got out of the shower, I was surprised to see a black void where there should have been the bright white of my old roommate's door reflecting in the moonlight. I figured I just forgot to close the door and went and closed it. The next night, I once again went to take a shower and left my room and the bathroom door open. But this time I checked to make sure the door was latched and the front door was double locked. When I came back out, I once again saw the void with the door wide open. I slammed my door closed and locked that shit so fast. I convinced myself there was a logical explanation, so the next night I once again checked all of the doors and then closed my bedroom door. This time I came out of the shower and my bedroom door was open along with the other door. I showered and slept with my bedroom door locked from that point on. I guess this took place over several nights home alone, and I may not have even been alone. Still the creepiest thing that ever happened though. Story 3. My husband took an overnight job to help us out during COVID. He's only been there about 2 weeks working evenings, 9 p.m. to 6 a.m. One night he left home around 8:15 p.m. Our daughter, age 11, and I decided to make it a movie night. Around 11 p.m. I heard keys in my back door and the usual sounds my husband makes when he comes home. I creep out to the kitchen to make sure it was him, and it was. He told me he needed to grab his knee compression sleeve, walks down the hall, says hi to our daughter, and he passes the living room and goes upstairs. He came back down, gave me a kiss and left again. We finished our movie and went to bed. In the morning, when he got home, I made a joking comment about him forgetting his knee sleeve. He was genuinely confused as I recalled the previous night. Our daughter confirmed everything I said and he still was acting confused. I pulled up our security motion camera on my phone to show him when he popped in quickly, but there was no footage from the night before or any other night of him coming home after he left for work. My daughter and I both heard him, saw him, and I touched him. But he was never home during that time. Nothing else out of the ordinary happened that night. We seriously have no idea what happened. Story 4. One night I wasn't feeling very well, and the upstairs had a larger bathroom. Downstairs was an old half bath, and I wanted to leave that for her if my wife needed to use it at night, so I figured I might as well sleep in the guest room. My wife did not have a problem with this as she had work early the next day, and I was constantly getting out of bed with food poisoning. At some point in the night, I awoke to the door slowly creaked open and a female voice asking if I was feeling all right. I assumed it was my wife and replied, "Yes, honey, I'm fine. See you in the morning." But the door never closed and no footsteps went downstairs as I would have heard them in this 1800s home, original wood floors and stairs. We were alone in the house that night. I asked my wife about it the next morning and she said never came up to check on me, let alone wake up during the night. I was facing away from the door when it happened, and the unexpected silence following the question made me turn over to check. The door was wide open, no lights were on, and no footsteps. Story 5. Back in high school, I'd usually be up all hours of the night playing games. I had a large dog at the time that would sleep in my room at night. It was 2 a.m. and I was finally headed to bed, but my dog wasn't with me, so I ventured out to find him. I made my way across the house to the kitchen-dining room combo. I'm standing in the only doorframe that leads to that side of the house. We had an island in the kitchen with a stool that the junk mail was usually kept on, so I woke up, called for my dog, and see him walk from behind the island to behind the dining room table set, knocking all the junk mail down as he did so. I haven't flipped on the light, no dog. I freak out, scramble back across the house, and end up finding him in my parents' room. I regaled the story the next day to my parents and my younger sister, who often claimed to see stuff in the house. My sister pipes up and goes, "Oh, that's the tall black thing. Yeah, sometimes it likes to crawl around on all fours." Story 6. Many years ago, I was 14 or so, my first night alone in the house when my parents were out. Lying on the living room floor reading, my cat sleeping next to me. Suddenly the cat wakes up, stares intently into the dark corner of the room behind me, hair on end, growls and then bolts out to the room and upstairs. I look behind me and see nothing, but follow the cat upstairs and hide under the covers. Freaked me out. Story 7. I was home alone for a bit and someone knocked on my front door. I went to go check who it was. I was confused because I wasn't expecting anyone. And then nobody was there, so I shut the door and locked it. I turned around and saw these two people with a ladder in my backyard attempting to go through the door to my porch. Thank God I was able to see them through the glass sliding door in my living room, or else they might have actually entered my house. I was so scared, oh my God. Anyways, these two people saw me looking at them and they left. In not even 10 minutes, a cop car showed up outside of my house on the street and was with these two people. To this day I have no idea what this was because the cop didn't talk to me. Story 8. Actual most terrifying? I woke up to find my landlord had let himself into my apartment. After the fright we had words. I slept with a weapon under my pillow from then on and told him I didn't give a shit what he said or what his reasons were. His widow could evict me because I'd kill the next intruder without hesitation. Let me know your stories in the comments to be part of a future video. Like and subscribe to be notified of new uploads. And click on this video to hear more stories.